Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here. Don't forget to subscribe. Today we've got an interesting one, and I don't necessarily know how I feel about this, but basically a murdered person's artificial intelligence representation addressed a court of law here in the United States. Now this is coming from the BBC, and quite frankly, I think this is an interesting one. Now here's what's going on. Chris Pelkey, the victim, died in a road rage shooting incident in Arizona about 3 years ago or so, but with the help of artificial intelligence, he returned earlier this month at the post-jury sentencing of his killer to deliver a victim's statement himself. Family members said they used AI to let him use his own words about the incident that took his life. So, his family took voice recordings, videos, and pictures of him, he was 37 at the time, to recreate him in a video using AI. And then his sister, Stacey Wales, wrote the words that the AI version read in court based on how forgiving she knew her brother would be. The AI version of Mr. Pelkey in court said, and I quote, "To Gabriel Horicitas, the man who shot me, it is a shame we encountered each other that day in those circumstances. In another life, we probably could have been friends." So, the Arizona judge that oversaw this case, Judge Todd Lang, seemed to appreciate the use of AI in the hearing. He sentenced Horicitas, for the record, for 10 years in prison on manslaughter charges. And to quote the judge, "I love that AI. Thank you for that. As angry as you are, as justifiably angry as the family is, I heard the forgiveness. I feel that it was genuine." End quote. But is it though? And honestly, is this a slippery slope for using technology in legal cases? Now, some experts like Derek Lieben, a business ethics professor at Carnegie Mellon, is concerned about the use of AI and the precedent it sets in cases like this. While Mr. Lieben does not question the family's intention or actions, he worries not all basically uses of AI will be consistent with victims' wishes. Quote, "If we have other people doing this moving forward, are we always going to get the fidelity to what the person, the victim in this case, would have wanted?" End quote. And yes, I think that is exactly the problem, because I quoted the article directly, essentially when I said his sister Stacey Wales wrote the words that the AI version read in court based on how forgiving she knew her brother would be. And did she though? Maybe she's a forgiving person, and maybe he would have been really pissed off. The point is that all humans are completely unique, and we have basically ebbs and flows in our emotional ability and stability. And I think this is something that we have to take in court, not to take into account, especially in a court of law. Not to mention the fact that if we are using this to eventually at some point in legal cases influence a jury, meaning some judge at some point allows an AI representation of what is supposed to be the quote unquote true form of, let's say, a murdered victim, and you put that in front of a jury, that could absolutely sway or make the jury very prejudicial. You know, I don't see any judge in their right mind doing that, but we have a lot of judges that try to set precedent as well. So I don't think this is necessarily a good thing. I understand that. I'm not knocking the family for doing this or actually letting the judge do this, but I do think that we do have a potential slippery slope issue. And so it's not necessarily that she knew what her brother would think. Nobody would know what her brother thought. She's basically imprinting her impressions of him as what she knows of him, and memories change over time. So I think this is really interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. It's a quick one, but quite frankly, I think it's an important one moving forward, because if the precedent is set where we are allowing, let's say, testimony, even if it's post-jury, from AI for impact statements, I feel like that's a huge thing, because if we can impress a judge, we might be able to impress sentencing as well to be harsher or easier, depending on what the situation is. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please remember to stay private, secure, and informed. Take care.